Okay, the topic of the day is 5 reasons your meal prep is flawed. So, I'm finding a lot of people are struggling with adherence week after week and, maintaining that consistency for weeks on end, right? And that's where our results are going to come from and how we're going to keep results for a long time and continue to make progress. So, 5 reasons your meal prep is flawed. Number one, the first concept to meal prepping is having your plan. Easy, right? Where did you get the plan? You probably got it from me. Perfect. Great. So now we got that out of the way. So let's go over the 5 things that you're doing wrong and some things to consider. First step for meal prepping: cook all your carbs and proteins first, right? The way you do this is you want to cook the time-consuming foods first, so while those are cooking, you can do other things, right? So, for example, get your rice cooker going, however you cook rice, whatever you choose to do there, whatever your means are for cooking potatoes, if those are in the plan. If your oatmeal takes a little bit longer to cook, have that cooking at the same time. Guys, most of us have 4 burners on our stove, so let's utilize those and get these things rolling. It is helpful to have separate appliances such as rice cookers, things like that, so we can keep a lot of things going at the same time, just to cut down on how much time this is going to take us, right? So cook those carbs and protein first. Have the oven going, maybe cook your chicken in there if you got chicken on your plan. Have 2 frying pans going. If you're using ground turkey, you can have ground turkey in one. You can have your lean beef in another one. Use those 2 burners to occupy that space. Maximize everything you can do to get all these proteins cooking at the same time. You're going to cut down on dishes. You're going to cut down on time. And really it's going to be a lot more efficient when you have the longest items all cooking at once. And then, that's going to really generate a lot of efficiency there. So that would be step number 1. Get the proteins and carbs cooking, right? Like I said, step 2, cook multiple items at the same time. Utilize different appliances if you need to. Rice cookers, air fryers, you got your oven, stove top, you even got a microwave, right? So lots of avenues to get these carbs going. You got a grill outside, great, use the grill, use the stove, use the oven, air fryer. We can have several things going at once. It's going to cut down a lot of time. The next thing is, while those items are cooking, this is where I would be preparing my workout drinks for the next day, right? So I'm getting my pre-workout ready. I'm getting my intra drink ready. If you have a post-workout drink, start getting that ready. A lot of you guys have a post-workout cereal or something like that. So I'll actually make the protein ahead of time in a shaker bottle in the fridge so it's ready to go for after my workout, right? So I'm thinking of all these things ahead of time, and I'm preparing for the next day. Some guys want to do this early in the morning. That's okay. I'm not into that. I got a 1-year-old that's sleeping. I got a wife that could potentially be sleeping at that time as well. So I don't really want to make a lot of noise in the morning. I just want the stuff done and ready to go, so I can be, fully compliant all day long. So yeah, start preparing that, those quicker meals. Some guys and girls have, cream of rice with protein mixed in there. Start making that. You can make the cream of rice in the microwave. You can prepare that meal while the other carbs and the meats are still cooking, right? So real simple stuff. Like I said, the workout drinks, all your supplement powders, all your supplement and health pills, get those organized for the next day. And then the main takeaway is, again, being prepared, right? Being prepared for the next day. So having every single meal ready. If you have 6 meals, even if it's post-workout cereal, I still have it weighed out and ready to go in a container for that next day. Everything's set, so I don't have to think about it, right? Even if you work from home, even if it's the weekend, you know you have a day off work, regardless, I'm preparing my meals for that next day, and they're going to be ready no matter what that next day looks like. So working from home, my meals are still ready in the fridge every single day. Weekends, same thing, no different. Nothing changes. A lot of people are going to make mistakes on the weekend because there's more family activities, stuff like that, and they didn't have their meal ready. Now they have to run home, put the meal together, and they're probably going to be late to the meal. The meals start piling up towards the end of the day. People miss meals, things like that, right? So, again, to reiterate, just prepare everything the day before, and it's going to set you up so much better. There's going to be way less stress when everything's ready for you. When you are out with family or you're doing whatever, right? Let's say it's the weekend, you guys are going over to family's house, things like that. Always know kind of how long you're going to be there, a rough idea, and overestimate that. Because, if you say you're going to leave someone's house by 7, by the time you start saying goodbyes and things like that, you end up in a conversation. That 7 o'clock can turn to 8:30 a lot of the times, right? I try to figure out kind of how long I'm going to be when I do go out and do things, and I have a set amount of meals with me. So if I know I'm going to be out of the house for 4 hours, I will bring 2-3 meals with me. I normally bring one more than I would expect to need, just in case anything comes up. You get a flat tire, you get in a fender bender, all this stuff, traffic jam, whatever. Someone else gets in an accident, a road gets closed. Just have the meals with you in a cooler. You prepared them the night before. All you had to do was throw them in a cooler and bring them with you, right? It's not hard to do. 5, the last step is really just considerations. And a lot of this is probably overkill for some, but if you have the means to make it happen, it can be beneficial. First one is considering a second fridge, right? So my main fridge in my kitchen, that's where my prepared meals go. So all my prepared meals for the next day are in my main refrigerator in the kitchen. I have a refrigerator in the garage, and that's where a lot of my prepped meats and carbs are. So I normally have a big bowl of rice in there. I have a big bowl of potatoes, and then I will have my different protein sources cooked in the fridge or the deep freezer, right, in the garage. So those things are always ready and accessible and planning even further in advance, right? So all that stuff's ready. So that's just a consideration. Not 100% necessary, but it does make your life easier. It cuts down on the amount of junk that's in the kitchen fridge. So, you do have other family that needs to store stuff in the refrigerator too. So leave some space for them, right? Another consideration, again, you don't have to, but it's helpful. A lot of the times I'll prepare 2 training days at the same time. The meals are identical, right? And if I have back-to-back days, it's very easy just to set out my containers and just weigh everything twice and just mimic it, just mirror it down the line. And now I have 2 days ready. Those will go in my in-home refrigerator, and then the rest of the cooked meats and prepared carbs will get stored in the garage. So then after 2 days, I can pull that stuff out and just do it again. And, I'll do it for 2 days again. And then normally on that 4th day, I do have to cook my proteins and carbs again. Because, one, I don't want to eat meat that's older than 4 or 5 days. I think it's gross. And probably, I don't know if it's completely healthy and food safe. So 4 or 5 days is like my maximum limit. So consider doing multiple days at a time. Like I said, you just lay everything out and just mirror everything that you're doing, and it makes things real simple. The last thing is, probably what a lot of you guys and girls are already doing, is just consider purchasing things in bulk so you don't run out of ingredients, right? The plans are pretty simple. There's only so many foods out there that we should be eating anyways. So just have those things on hand, because the worst thing is when you run out of an ingredient when you're meal prepping and now you have to run to the grocery store. So instead of having to find something else to fit in that place, just be prepared and have all that stuff ahead of time. You know, check the pantry before you go shopping. Check the refrigerator before you go shopping. Make sure you buy enough of that stuff that you're not going to run into issues come prep time, right? So hopefully some of this was helpful. If you guys do have additional tips and tricks that would help others, please leave them in the comments below. Give the video a like, share it with a friend that is having trouble meal prepping or just needs some new ideas. And then if you guys want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate that as well. ChaseIronsForum.com is where you can find me and more of this information, as well as several other things. It's a good community over there. Tommy John Coaching on Instagram, and TommyJohnCoaching.com for training inquiries. Thank you guys.